The distress call. The observation deck of the ESS Intrepid offered an unparalleled view of Earth's orbital shipyards. Commander Maya Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching as maintenance drones swarmed around the hull of a Thunderhead-class destroyer. The massive vessel's armor plating gleamed under the harsh work lights, its railgun batteries dormant but imposing. Quite a sight, isn't it? The voice belonged to Admiral James Harrington, who approached with the measured gait of a career military officer. At 62, his hair had gone completely silver, but his posture remained ramrod straight. "The pride of the United Earth Defense Force," Maya replied. "Though I hope we won't need to wake the beast anytime soon." Harrington's expression darkened. "That's actually why I called you here. We've received a transmission. Something unusual." The Admiral led Maya to a secure briefing room, where several other high-ranking officers were already gathered. The room fell silent as they entered. On the central holographic display, a waveform pulsed rhythmically. This signal was detected by our deep space monitoring station near Proxima Centauri, explained Lieutenant Corey Jong, the communications specialist. "It's been repeating for 3 days now. We've confirmed it's not natural in origin." "A distress call?" Maya asked. "That's our assessment," John replied, manipulating the controls. "We've partially decoded it. It's coming from the Vega system, approximately 25 light-years away." The waveform transformed into a sequence of alien symbols, which then resolved into English text. "To any who receive this message, we are the Areli of Vega Prime. Our civilization faces extinction. The Kryvax Armada approaches. We have days remaining. We call upon the humans of Earth, whom we sheltered during the Great Diaspora. Remember us." The room fell silent. Maya's mind raced back to the history lessons she'd studied at the Academy. The Great Diaspora, humanity's first tentative steps beyond their solar system 3 generations ago. When a catastrophic engine failure had stranded the colony ship Endeavour in the Vega system, it was the Areli who had taken in the 5,000 human survivors, providing them sanctuary until Earth could send rescue. "Do we have confirmation this is genuinely from the Areli?" asked General Victor Santos, his weathered face creased with concern. John nodded. "The signal contains authentication codes that match our diplomatic archives." "It's them." Maya studied the star chart that appeared on the display. "Vega is beyond our normal patrol routes." "Who are these Kryvax?" "A warrior culture from the Deneb sector," answered Dr. Amara Okafor, the xenopolitical advisor. "Highly aggressive, technologically advanced. They've been expanding their territory for the past decade. Our intelligence on them is limited, but what we know isn't reassuring." "The Areli are peaceful," Admiral Harrington said quietly. "They have minimal defensive capabilities. If the Kryvax have set their sights on Vega Prime, we owe them a debt," Maya stated firmly. "We can't abandon them." The discussion that followed was heated. Earth's military had evolved into a defensive force, primarily focused on protecting human colonies and trade routes. An expedition to Vega would stretch their resources thin and potentially expose Earth to other threats. General Santos slammed his fist on the table. "This isn't just about repaying a debt. It's about who we are as a species. What message do we send to the galaxy if we ignore the plea of the one civilization that helped us when we were vulnerable?" After hours of debate, the decision was made. Earth would respond. 3 days later, Commander Maya Chen found herself aboard the ESS Resolute, flagship of the legendary 10th Fleet, Earth's most formidable battle group. 12 capital ships supported by 30 frigates and over 200 fighter craft, all preparing for faster-than-light transit to the Vega system. On the bridge, Maya reviewed the tactical displays with her XO, Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel. "The Kryvax fleet will outnumber us at least 3-1, based on our long-range scans," Raj reported, his fingers dancing over the holographic interface. "Their energy signatures suggest weapon systems more advanced than we've encountered before." Maya nodded grimly. "But they've never fought humans before." "Is that an advantage, Commander?" asked a voice from behind them. Dr. Eliza Nakamura, the fleet's chief science officer, approached with a datapad in hand. Humanity's greatest strength has always been adaptation, Maya replied. We've studied every recorded encounter with the Kryvax. They rely on overwhelming force and intimidation. They expect enemies to follow conventional tactics. And we won't. Raj grinned. No, we won't, Maya confirmed. Deploy battle plan Thermopylae. As the fleet made final preparations, Maya retreated to her quarters. She accessed the ship's database, reviewing everything known about the Aurelie, a humanoid species with iridescent skin and elaborate cranial ridges. They were philosophers and artists who had developed interstellar travel almost by accident while pursuing theoretical physics. Their civilization valued harmony above all else. Her console chimed with an incoming transmission. Commander, we're receiving a message from the Aurelie homeworld, reported the communications officer. It's degraded, but... The screen flickered to life, showing an Aurelie female. Her normally luminescent skin was dull with exhaustion, the ceremonial robes of her office torn and stained. I am High Counselor Sarah of the Aurelie Concordance, she began, her voice distorted by interference. The Kryvax have established orbital superiority. Their ground forces have landed on our southern continent. Our largest cities are under siege. We have perhaps 2 days before our planetary defenses fail completely. High Counselor, this is Commander Maya Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We've received your distress call and are en route to Vega Prime. Hold position as long as you can. We're coming. Relief washed over the alien's features. The Accord of Sanctuary is remembered then. We had hoped, but dared not assume. Humanity pays its debts, Maya assured her, and we protect our friends. The transmission ended abruptly as another explosion rocked the Aurelie command center. Maya turned to find Admiral Harrington standing in the doorway of her quarters. The fleet is ready, he said. All ships report combat readiness at 97%. Sir, permission to speak freely? Harrington nodded. Why send me? There are more experienced officers who could lead this mission. The Admiral's expression softened slightly. Because your grandfather was on the Endeavor, Commander Chen. He was among those the Aurelie saved. I thought that appropriate. Maya hadn't known. Her family rarely spoke of those days. Thank you for telling me, sir. The 10th Fleet is yours, Commander. Make it count. The jump to FTL was textbook perfect, the fleet moving in precise formation as the fabric of space-time folded around them. Maya used the transit time to finalize her strategy with the ship captains and squadron leaders. Each understood their role in the complex dance to come. They dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Vega system, sensors immediately coming online to assess the tactical situation. The data that flooded in was sobering. 18 Kryvax warships held position in high orbit around Vega Prime, each nearly twice the size of the Resolute. Their hulls were covered in what appeared to be overlapping scales of dark metal, punctuated by weapon ports that pulsed with ominous energy. Fighter squadrons patrolled in tight formation, while transport ships ferried troops and equipment to the surface. They haven't detected us yet, Raj reported. The star's radiation is masking our signature. Maya studied the tactical display. We have surprise on our side, but not for long. Begin Phase 1. 3 stealth corvettes detached from the fleet, their matte black hulls virtually invisible against the backdrop of space. They accelerated toward Vega Prime using minimal power, their mission to establish contact with the remaining Aurelie defense grid. Meanwhile, the main fleet began a complex maneuver that would position them between the Kryvax Armada and their supply line to Deneb. Enemy vessels are changing formation, announced Lieutenant Sofia Volkov from Tactical. They've detected us. Right on schedule, Maya replied calmly. All ships, battle stations, launch fighter screen, defensive pattern echo. The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as officers relayed commands and systems powered up to combat readiness. On the main view screen, the Kryvax fleet was turning to face them, their formation shifting from a planetary siege pattern to an offensive wedge. A communication request chimed through the system. "Put it through," Maya ordered. The screen filled with the image of a Kryvax commander, a reptilian humanoid with segmented armor fused directly to its scaled skin. Its vertical pupils narrowed as it regarded the human bridge crew. "Unidentified vessels, this is Supreme Commander Vrax of the Kryvax Dominion. You have entered a restricted military zone. State your purpose or be destroyed." Maya stepped forward. "This is Commander Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. The Areli civilization is under our protection. You are ordered to cease hostilities and withdraw your forces immediately." The Kryvax commander's mouth stretched into what might have been a smile, revealing rows of serrated teeth. "Humans, your reputation is exaggerated. Our intelligence indicates your vessels are significantly outmatched. Depart now, and we may yet show mercy. You have 1 hour to begin withdrawal." Maya responded, her voice steady. "After that, we will take action to defend our allies." The transmission cut off abruptly. "They're deploying attack squadrons," Raj reported. "Sensor readings indicate energy weapons powering up across their fleet." Maya turned to her crew, her expression resolute. "They expect us to retreat or to engage conventionally. We'll do neither. Begin Operation Labyrinth." As the Kryvax fighters approached, expecting to encounter human vessels in a defensive formation, they instead found themselves flying into empty space. The 10th Fleet had disappeared. The battle for Vega. Supreme Commander Vrax slammed a clawed fist against the armrest of his command chair, mandibles clicking in frustration. "Where are they?" he demanded, glaring at his sensor officer. "An entire fleet cannot simply vanish." "The humans deployed some form of countermeasure before our squadrons made contact," reported Sub-Commander Krell. "Our sensors are detecting phantom signatures across a 20,000-kilometer radius. Find them." Vrax snarled. "Recalibrate the detection arrays. Launch additional scout vessels." Aboard the ISS Resolute, Maya watched the Kryvax response with satisfaction. The electronic warfare packages they'd deployed, a combination of advanced decoys and sensor jamming technology, were working perfectly. The enemy fleet was spreading thin, trying to locate threats that didn't exist. "Our stealth corvettes have reached Vega Prime," Raj reported. "They've established contact with the Areli Defense Network and are uploading the tactical package now." Maya nodded. "Status on the Kryvax supply convoy." "Right where we want them," Sophia replied. "They're holding position at the edge of the system, waiting for escort vessels that are now searching for us." "Excellent. Signal the Artemis and the Orion. Execute Phase 2. 2 heavy cruisers detached from the main fleet, their engines burning bright as they accelerated toward the undefended Kryvax supply ships. Meanwhile, the remaining Earth vessels maintained their low-power profile, scattered strategically throughout the system. On the Kryvax flagship, alarms blared as new contacts appeared on their tactical display. "Supreme Commander, human warships are attacking our supply convoy," Sub-Commander Krell shouted. Vrax's eyes narrowed. "A diversion. Clever, but futile. Dispatch the 3rd Squadron to intercept. The rest will continue the search." As 4 Kryvax destroyers broke formation and raced to protect their supply lines, Maya gave her next command. Phase 3. All vessels, power up weapons systems. Target designated weak points only. Earth's fleet had spent the last hour meticulously mapping the energy signatures of each Kryvax vessel, identifying fluctuation patterns that suggested potential vulnerabilities in their shield systems. Now, from multiple vectors, the human ships emerged from electronic hiding and opened fire. The Resolute shuddered as its main batteries discharged, sending hypervelocity rounds streaking toward the nearest Kryvax dreadnought. The shots weren't aimed at the vessel's command center or engines, but at a specific point where their sensors had detected a cyclical weakness in the shield harmonics. "Direct hit," Sophia announced. "Enemy vessel showing localized shield failure. All fighter squadrons, launch now." Maya ordered. Converge on target Alpha. Exploit the breach. Across the Vega system, Earth's vessels struck simultaneously, each focusing overwhelming firepower on carefully chosen targets. It wasn't the conventional approach of trying to destroy enemy ships outright. It was precision surgery, designed to create cascading failures in their defensive systems. The Krivak's command ship rocked violently as alarms blared throughout its cavernous bridge. "What is happening?" Vrax demanded, struggling to maintain his balance as another impact sent tremors through the hull. "The humans. They're targeting specific shield nodes," Krell reported, his voice rising in disbelief. "Each shot is precisely calibrated to exploit harmonic resonance points in our defensive grid. It's as if they can see through our shields." "Impossible," Vrax snarled. "No species possesses such technology." "Sir, the Ereli defense platforms are activating," another officer reported. "They're coordinating with the human vessels." This was the true masterstroke of Maya's plan. The stealth corvettes had integrated Earth's targeting systems with the remaining Ereli orbital defenses. The automated platforms, which the Krivaks had dismissed as obsolete and harmless, were now firing in perfect synchronization with the human fleet, creating devastating crossfire patterns that no ship could evade. Aboard the Resolute, Maya watched as the tactical display updated in real time. The Krivak's formation was breaking apart, their ships maneuvering frantically to escape the unexpected onslaught. "We've neutralized 30% of their offensive capability," Raj reported. "The supply convoy is retreating." "And the ground forces?" Maya asked. Dr. Nakamura stepped forward. "Our analysis of their communications suggests their command structure is in disarray. Without orbital support, they're falling back to defensive positions." The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, coordinating the complex ballet of ships and weapon systems. Earth's vessels darted through the chaos, exploiting each new vulnerability as it appeared, their tactics constantly evolving. "Commander," Sophia called out, "the Krivak's flagship is hailing us." Maya straightened her uniform. On screen, Supreme Commander Vrax appeared, his armored hide scorched and cracked in places. Behind him, emergency lighting cast ominous shadows across the Krivak's bridge. "Commander Chen," he began, his voice tight with suppressed rage. "I underestimated your species' capabilities." "A common mistake," Maya replied evenly, "and one you won't have the opportunity to repeat unless you comply with our terms." "Terms?" Vrax's mandibles twitched. "You presume much. Immediate and unconditional withdrawal from the Vega system, reparations to the Aurelia people for damage inflicted, and formal acknowledgement that this system and its inhabitants are under Earth's protection." Vrax's vertical pupils contracted to thin slits. "The Krivaks do not surrender." Maya's expression hardened. "This isn't a request for surrender, Commander. It's the only path to survival for your remaining forces. My tactical officer is transmitting targeting solutions for your shield generators and life support systems. You have 5 minutes to begin withdrawal procedures." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in tense silence. "Will they comply?" Admiral Harrington asked quietly from his position at the rear of the bridge. "They're pragmatists beneath the bluster," Maya answered. "Their society values strength, but also survival. They won't sacrifice their entire expedition force when they can retreat and regroup." 4 minutes later, the Krivak's fleet began powering down weapon systems and adjusting course away from Vega Prime. "They're withdrawing," Raj confirmed, unable to keep a note of triumph from his voice. Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Maintain combat readiness. I want escort vessels accompanying them to the edge of the system to ensure they don't double back." As the immediate crisis subsided, Maya authorized relief missions to the surface of Vega Prime. Medical teams and emergency supplies were dispatched to assist the Ereli in treating their wounded and beginning the process of rebuilding. 3 days later, Maya stood in a vaulted chamber within the partially damaged Ereli Concordance Hall. Sunlight filtered through shattered crystal panels in the ceiling, casting prismatic patterns across the gathered representatives of both species. High Counselor Sarah, recovered from her injuries but still bearing the marks of battle, approached with arms extended in the traditional Areli greeting. Commander Chen, the debt owed to humanity by the Areli has been repaid in full, she said formally, her iridescent skin pulsing with emotion. Maya shook her head. That's not why we came, High Counselor. No. Sarah's head tilted inquiringly. Then why risk your fleet, your lives, for a species you barely know? Because centuries ago, when humans were stranded among the stars, you didn't calculate debts or advantages. You simply helped, Maya replied. In doing so, you taught us something about who we hope to be as we venture further into the galaxy. Admiral Harrington stepped forward. The United Earth Defense Force will be establishing a permanent outpost in the Vega system, with your permission. Not to claim territory, but to ensure this alliance is protected. Sarah's expression brightened. The Concordance would welcome such an arrangement. Perhaps together, we can show the Kryvax and others that there are alternatives to conquest. As negotiations continued, Maya found herself drawn to a balcony overlooking the Areli capital city. Beyond the damaged buildings and scorched parks, the planet's twin moons were rising on the horizon. She felt a presence beside her, and turned to find Dr. Nakamura joining her. Beautiful, isn't it? The scientist observed. Even after everything that's happened. Maya nodded. The Kryvax commander asked me something during our final exchange that I've been pondering. He wanted to know what makes humans different, why we fight the way we do. And what did you tell them? That while other species evolved to perfect their strengths, humans evolved to overcome their weaknesses, Maya replied. We've never been the strongest, the fastest, or the most technologically advanced. But we've learned to integrate, to adapt, to find connections that others miss. Nakamura smiled. And to remember our friends. In orbit above them, the ships of Earth's 10th Fleet held position, their running lights visible as stars among stars, a promise and a warning to any who might threaten the peace of Vega Prime. Humanity had answered the call, and the galaxy had witnessed the response.